Hello, everyone, and welcome to Dad Bods and Bad Attitudes. We are your hosts. I'm Christopher Samella. He's Mark Davis, just a couple of garden variety white boys with some guitars, dad bods, bad attitudes, and a whole lot of fire for what's going on in the world. We're going to get right into the show, talk about the latest updates from Mark's campaign, what the hell is going on in Florida, right after we hit this intro. All right, Mark, let's get right into it, man.
All
You
right.
wanted to talk a little bit about last week. I'm going to turn it over to you. I do have to mock you vociferously and viciously about the stain on your shirt that just happened right before we went live with this recording. You went ahead and decided you wanted to spill, I don't know, what was it, bourbon, tequila? I don't
Yeah,
know what you had there to get
it was
prepped for this show today, but you are soused on the shirt.
yeah, bourbon for sure. At what time is it? 10:21 in the morning here. Um, no, I don't. I just spilled some water. I was taking a sip of water before we get started here. I got a little bit of a sore throat. You can probably hear it. And I just spilled it on my shirt, and then I was like, man, I really wanted to wear this shirt, and it's a very basic shirt. It's literally just black, but it's kind of worn look. I got it from Marshalls. And anyway, yeah. So I'm gonna roll with it, and hopefully this thing just kind of disappears as we go.
Okay, so we'll find out if it disappears as we go. Everyone at home, completely try to ignore that Gorbachev-like blotch that's now on his shirt right there. Let's just try to ignore that and pretend it's not
Yeah,
there.
it's kind of Chris. It's kind of like the Epstein files. You know, it's
Okay?
not really there. It's not
Right,
there.
exactly. I think that could be a great segue. I don't know if you want to get right into the Epstein files and the latest news there, but I'll turn it over to you. Why don't you kick off the conversation today with
Yeah, so first
your
off,
news?
Chris,
Hmm.
first off, I just wanted to give you a big shout out. You're kind of the man behind the scenes here. You were able to pull together a pretty impressive podcast here. I think what of our budget so far is like $30 a month or whatever it is,
Something
So
like that.
you, yeah. So you were able to pull together a pretty professional looking podcast, and I really
Thank you,
appreciate it.
sir.
But anyway, we started blasting it all over our social media, all over Threads, all over Facebook. Cut it up, did a bunch of shorts, and it has really taken off. We've had thousands of views already on Instagram. We've had thousands of views already on Facebook. Threads, I think we're up to about 250 followers right now.
I checked a little
Um,
while ago. Yeah, we have 300 followers
oh,
in less
great.
than a week, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, so people are coming out. I have about 50,000 followers on Threads, and people are starting to migrate over to Dad Bods. It's on my website. If you just go to maddogdims.com, maddogdims.com. It's a little blue link at the very top of the website. Chris, I don't know, I might be like pushing your technicalities here, but maybe we can bring up like a picture of it. When we edit this, and it's Mad Dog Dims. It's a little yellow link on there, and you just click on that, and then you can check out all of our videos on YouTube and Facebook.
Yep.
But anyway, just super excited about the blast off there. We weren't expecting that much attention. It's really taking off, and we're just super excited to continue to deliver this day after day and week after week. So
Thanks, Mark. I would like to say for the people at home that I consider what we call the 15 budget. $15 or my 15 minutes of fame, whichever comes up first. So
yeah,
whatever that is, that's what we're calling it. It's the 15 budget.
yeah.
As far as the studio is concerned, wanted to be in the studio today. We had a little bit of a timing issue yesterday. Weren't able to get into the studio, so we're rocking it from home today, and we're just going to cut it loose.
So there's two things, Chris, that I want to jump into before we start diving into. There's just so much craziness going on right now, and
It's
it's
almost
hard.
overwhelming, but yeah.
It's overwhelming. It's hard to narrow down what to really focus on. But there's two things that I want to talk about prior to really getting into it. And number one is I owe you an apology because yesterday we were supposed to film, like you said, and we ran into a bit of a scheduling issue, and I failed to properly communicate with my wife to make sure that she was off that day or was available to watch the kids or take the kids to practice, and I wasn't available yesterday, so I dropped the ball. But the universe punished me appropriately, and on my way to I was late to pick up my daughter because I needed to get gas, so I had to hear about that.
Oh,
And
yep.
when I picked up my daughter, we had to run all the way back across town to take her to cheer because she just got done with cross country. So it was like 5 o'clock or whatever, and I had to rush my son around prior to that to get him food. So anyway, by the time I get there, I'm kind of a short tempered, so I run over to take her to cheer, and she's hungry. So we have to stop and get her some food, and we're already late to cheer. So we get her some food, and my son wants some ice cream, so we get some ice cream, and we get back into my car, and my car is very
Reasonable
small.
request, in my opinion.
Yeah, reasonable request. But anyway, my car, I drive a red Camaro, and it's got 8647 on the front license plate, and it's fucking
Mm-hmm.
loud. It's an LT1 Camaro. It's fucking loud, dude. 6 speed. But anyway, it's very unpractical or impractical of a vehicle, right? Like my wife says, why do you buy these vehicles? Because we do have 2 children, and it's a 2-door, so we have to
Yeah.
cram all of our backpacks and shit into this vehicle.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. So
I
anyway,
have the Challenger, so it
oh,
has the Challenger has this much more room than a Camaro.
yeah. So you're right here with me. So, but you got to have fun, and you got to look good while you're driving here in Florida. So
I got to look good.
you got to. So anyway, so I'm throwing backpacks around, trying to get them ready, and trying to make sure I know where I'm going and get there on time. And I throw the backpack into the back seat, and it accidentally hits my son's arm, and ice cream just goes flying all over the place.
Oh,
Because it's,
fantastic.
it's like those little frozen, what are they called? Those little frozen bead ice creams,
The Dippin' Dots?
Dippin' Dots. And it just,
That doesn't even count as ice cream, Mark. Come on, baby.
he likes it. I like Dippin' Dots. What are you talking? They got cookies and cream and shit.
That
But
might be a
anyway,
dad fail by you, dude,
huge
for a
dad
couple of
fail.
reasons. But I'll let it slide because we don't have that much time to
But
ridicule you
let me just
ice
jump to the
cream.
very end. So we get through all that, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
get home, and I want some peanut M&Ms. Okay, Chris, I want peanut M&Ms. After a full day of dealing with that with the kids, I just want some peanut M&Ms. And I drive. I drop my daughter and son off at the door, and I say, "Tell your mother that I'm just running to the store real quick, and I'll be right back." She did not tell my wife that, and I get blown up with texts and calls from my wife and my daughter
Where are
wondering,
you?
where am I at? Why are you ignoring us? Wait, this isn't like, where are you going? I'm like, I'm just getting some peanut M&Ms. I told Elise but anyway. Um, so that was yesterday. So owe you apology, but the universe got me back.
Okay.
All right.
The universe got you.
It
Okay. Well,
did.
I accept your apology. Thank you, Mark.
You
Sorry you have ice cream all over the Camaro.
It's all right. I got to go clean it up when we're done here. So, all good though. But Chris, the reason that we're fucking here, right, is because there's so much crazy shit going on in this country, and they keep doubling
Mhm.
down on it every time,
They are.
right? And we're getting more and more nervous. We're getting more and more scared, and they just keep doubling down. They keep doubling down because they do not care. As a matter of fact, that is their agenda, to install fear in us, Chris. And I just want to take a
I
second.
agree.
I just want to take a second to give the people the definition of fascism. Okay.
Go
And
ahead.
again,
I think it's important.
I want you to put this up on the screen. Okay.
Put it
I
up on
don't
the
know.
Tron. Okay, I'll see what I can do
Yep.
in post to get that thing up. Because this fucking podcast program doesn't allow you just to drop in a picture, we're going to read the Merriam-Webster definition of fascism: a populist political philosophy, movement, or regime that exalts nation and often race above the individual, that is associated with a centralized autocratic government headed by a dictatorial leader, and that is characterized by severe economic and social regimentation and by forcible suppression of opposition. Sounds quite familiar right now. Sounds quite relevant.
All right. So this is the definition of fascism, just so that it's 100% clear that we're not just calling MAGA fascist because it's fun or it gets a bunch of likes. We are actually concerned that they aren't only turning into fascists, that they may already be full-blown fascists. But anyway,
Agree.
this is the definition of fascism, okay? Fascism is an authoritarian, nationalistic, right-wing system that believes in one group's supremacy, contempt for democracy, and obedience to a leader. Okay? And that's the entire point of why I'm all excited. That's the entire point of why I'm speaking out. That's the entire point of why I got involved, because you can see these patterns are happening more and more every day. And we are turning into a fascist state.
I want you to
100%.
go ahead and do me a favor, Mark. Reread that slowly, and I'm going to stop you as you
Okay.
read it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Fascism is an authoritarian, nationalistic, right-wing system that
Okay,
believes.
stop.
Mhm,
Stop. National, we said authoritarian.
mhm.
Okay. Authoritarian means essentially one man rule or one person rule.
Correct.
Somebody who is the judge, jury, executioner, to use that cliche, someone
Correct.
whose their belief system becomes the state's belief system, the party's belief system, and everyone underneath it, it's their belief system as well. Authoritarian is ruling with an iron fist. Okay, if we're going to use just another expression,
Mhm.
nationalistic, America first, jingoistic, talking points, essentially talking down other countries
Exactly.
to, you know, uh, and our own self-aggrandizement to make us feel better about ourselves, perhaps.
And national,
Um,
I mean, I think the nationalism is one of the biggest points here. And that's one of the first things I saw when you start noticing patterns that we're starting to become a state of an authoritarian type dictatorship, is that you start pointing at people and saying, I'm better than you. And
mhm,
America,
yeah,
a lot of countries say that America has exceptionalism, and that's not untrue, right? There's been a lot of exceptionalism in America, but it's so far from what I've felt in America is that that exceptionalism hasn't created an almost um, narcissistic worldview. It didn't do that, right? We were exceptional that we were solving problems, that we were trying to spread democracy, that we were trying to fight the good fight. But now, with this nationalist movement, this exceptionalism has turned into, um, this narcissistic feeling that people almost work for you, that the world
I think it's a
exists for
great
you.
point.
Hmm.
Nationalism has adopted narcissism
Yes.
from the authoritarian leader of the party. And then let's go back to those 3 points. It was authoritarian, nationalistic, right wing. Goes without saying, Trump, MAGA is right wing. Okay,
Yep.
so go to the next part of that statement, the definition.
So, and then it goes on to say that believes one group's supremacy and has contempt for democracy.
One group supremacy, contempt for democracy.
Hmm.
Let's start with the latter. Every single day, there's a court judgment that says what this guy is doing is unconstitutional.
Hmm.
And then what he'll say, and all the talking points get flooded out to his emissaries and his sycophants and the party on the ground, and they will repeat all of this as though it were true, as though they keep calling them activist judges. So he has an incredible gift for poisoning the well.
Hmm.
He has an incredible gift for creating these narratives that are easy to believe because you want to believe something. Um, and then it taints the perspective that his, his enablers, sycophants, emissaries, and the people on the ground, their viewpoint of whatever it may be. It could be the justice system, judges in general, democracy at large, and then everybody starts to develop this uh, hazy view of what's right and wrong, what's constitutional, unconstitutional. These judges, by and large, are impartial and don't get into the business of making shit up on the fly.
Hmm.
Now, the Supreme Court has,
Yep.
but I mean, if you look, and it doesn't matter if they were appointed by, there's guys and gals on the bench that go back decades, for better or worse. But judges that have been appointed, you know, 40 years ago, 30 years ago, 20 years ago, 10 by all manner of presidents from Republican to Democrat, and they are making determinations based on the Constitution and precedent. And it doesn't matter what it is. If it conflicts with what Trump wants, it's unconstitutional as far as he's concerned, and it's activist judges.
Yeah. And we've never experienced anything like this. We've never
No,
experienced.
nothing like this has ever happened where he's just run rampant over these people, and what he's doing is daring any of them to hold him accountable every day. And now that mentality has been adopted by 90% of the MAGA movement, Ron DeFascist, Greg Abbott, and most of the rest of them.
Yep.
They're daring someone to hold them accountable. And I saw a post you made yesterday. It basically says, who's going to do it? It's up to the people.
It's
It's
up to
up
the
to us.
people.
You know, we'll see if we can do it, because it is fascism. It is here today. There was a lot of argument over the past week with MAGA trying to poke holes in what we were saying, and I think it was very poignant on your part to bring up the definition of fascism. So, but please continue. I think you had some more points you wanted to make on that.
Well, I mean, thank you for slowing me down and kind of explaining and walking through it. But, they talk about contempt for democracy, and it's 100% right that democracy was built for the people. It was, and this was the first democracy. People can argue, where it started, originated, but this was the real first successful democracy that people started to duplicate across the world.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
now we're starting to show, and we fought for that. We went to wars for that. We tried to spread it, and now we're starting to show that maybe democracy doesn't work. That more of an authoritarian rule is what America is moving towards, and that's just not acceptable for me. And that's what Republicans are doing, and that's what MAGA is doing, and that's what a lot of people that are asleep right now are allowing to happen. And when fascism starts poking its ugly head out, you have to whack it. It's kind of like whack a Nazi, whack a mole. You got to whack a Nazi, right?
No, whack a Nazi
You got to whack a
for sure.
Nazi. Every time you see it pop up, you got to point at it and laugh at it, and you can't make it become normal.
No,
And
you
people
can
are,
never hesitate on that, which is why they're still here. There's been a lot of recriminations about Reconstruction and the 1870s, late 19th century. The Confederates were given too wide of a berth.
hmm
We had they had a settlement at Appomattox, handshake, unconditional surrender,
yeah.
and they were let off the hook after that.
So,
And you could debate that by letting them kind of have their we gave blacks the right to vote, and wrote it in an amendment that every man should have the right to vote, and then we had to do women later. But looking at what happened in the aftermath, they were not held accountable enough, and that's why you had this recharacterization of American history. The old War of Northern Aggression, the South will rise again, and all that crap, and that has permeated for 150 years. In the underbelly of society.
yeah.
They've allowed it to just fester there. And I make that point because it's the same with this Nazi crap. We shouldn't even be talking about Nazism. If you're doubting what we're saying, it's very easy to show you what's going on. Columbus,
hmm
Ohio, Nazi rally, people walking across the street with masks and Nazi flags and feeling completely emboldened to do so. That's not the only place. That's just the most recent one I can remember seeing within the past couple weeks
hmm
that was broadcast on television. That's not the only one by any stretch. And pay attention, because they feel as though MAGA represents them and they represent MAGA. They're this.
Yeah.
That's what they think. And if your party doesn't disavow Nazis, then you have avowed them,
Yep.
if that's a word. And you have brought them under your tent. Sorry, it's what it is.
So I have a follower, and he is from Germany, and
Mm-hmm.
I've been sharing a lot of his posts, and he's made some videos. But we're all kind of late to this party. You had the Heritage Foundation that started many decades ago. And I'm late anyway to this party, that I'm just now realizing how badly fascism is getting and how bad the sickness is, and that we need to speak up. But there's many people over in Germany that have been noticing these patterns over the years, and that have been warning America that, hey, this is the path that you're heading towards. These are the signs of that you're heading towards those paths, and this is why you need to do something about it, because it didn't work for us. Fascism did not work well for Germany, and that's what Donald Trump is trying to turn America into, a fascist state. Maybe we'll in the video, maybe we can put like one of his posts on there or something, just kind of shouting him out. But his name is Jan Berkman, and he's from Germany. But follow that guy. He has a lot of good advice. But anyway, we could go on and on, right? And what it all comes down to is that fascism shows a huge obedience to a leader, and that's what they're doing with Donald Trump. And Donald Trump can change his mind today, he can change his mind tomorrow, and they'll ebb and flow with every little decision that he makes.
Whatever he says.
Whatever he says. And you can talk about the tariffs, and you can talk about immigration, you can talk about crime, and it's all bullshit. The tariffs, he talks
Yeah.
about, sending the money back at some point, but yet he wants to pay off the debt with it. That doesn't make any fucking sense, right? I
There's
mean,
not a word of what he says that is true or logical or makes any sense at all. That's grounded in any reality that any of us actually live in.
no.
He's trying to create an alternate reality. MAGA is inside that reality. It's a bubble. We've talked about it. At this point, it's been 10 years of this.
Yeah.
I cannot even believe he has absorbed 10 years of my life. Uh, you know, I didn't vote for this. I didn't vote for this motherfucker to absorb 10 years of our lives, you know, running down the Constitution, people all over the country and all over the world, and demonizing other people, and we can't have trans in the military. I want people in the military that care about this country and want to fight for it. That's who I want in the military.
Yeah. And I, and
They're
I
not
want, I
allowed
want
to
to,
wear fucking dresses or whatever the fuck you think is going on. They're not wearing that. They're wearing the uniform.
you know what, Chris? I'm tired of these fringe topics, like trans in the military and things like
Yeah, I
that,
agree with you.
that
Like it
are
has to
that are
dominate the whole
guiding.
discourse.
It's guiding our national politics. It's guiding everything, and they're such fringe. I don't want to say that they're non-existent issues, but basically they are. Right? They're not. They're nothing that you have to stop what you're doing today and say that we're going to be overran by a problem that doesn't freaking exist, Chris.
Yeah,
And
he
that is,
creates a problem so he could provide the solution, and he can be the only one to provide the solution. And this is part of fascism.
yes. All right, we have so much to get to. But there's one more thing I want to bring up about fascist, and this is
Go ahead.
probably the thing that drives me the most insane, is plurality. Is that fascism and authoritarian rule and Hitler and Nazi Germany, they started getting rid of plurality. And plurality is the option or the ability of a nation to believe whatever they want, to have multiple beliefs in one nation. And fascist states don't believe that. They believe in a one religion state. And if you're trying to tell me that what Donald Trump is pretending to do and cuddling up with Christian nationalism, while that he is pretty much doing the exact opposite policies of what a good Christian would actually do, and he's cuddling up with these Christian nationalist groups, so you might as well just fucking slap a Nazi sticker on their head. Those people are fucking ruining our country, these Christian nationalists. Plurality is so fucking important in the bedrock of this country, that if you can't live and you can't breathe and you can't enjoy freedom to believe whatever the hell you want to, what are we doing? right? If I'm telling you, Chris, that you can't believe this, or I'm going to think negatively about you, whether it's you're agnostic or you're atheist or you're Jewish or you're Christian or you're Muslim, and now they're hanging up the Ten Commandments in fucking classrooms. This is
Yep.
insanity, Chris. You
Dude,
know?
you hit on one of my triggers is the the distinction between church and state and the separation therein. And if we are going to continue down this slope of allowing religion to creep into every aspect of society, most of all schools, to
Yep.
say it's dangerous and unconstitutional and against what the founding fathers wanted is the least of it. It is extremely dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
It is extremely dangerous. By the way, it's fucking infuriating.
Yeah.
Um, you may have gotten these letters as well from, from the state that went to our schools, and then the school has to forward it on to the parents of the students in those schools. And I got to see shit like God bless. Don't fucking God bless in a letter from
Mm-hmm.
the state about the public school system. I don't want to see that shit.
Right. It's fucking weird.
It's unnecessary. And I don't want to see about, you know, giving your students an education that is somehow godly. There were allusions to that in two
Mm-hmm.
letters that we received from the state, and I'm going to try to provide those, as I said, with the definition of fascism. I will try to share these in the in post and try to pop them up in here. Maybe I'll give myself a pause.
But
You know,
there's Chris. There's
we'll
so
pause
many.
5 seconds for flash photography.
Okay. Are you asking me to pause right now? Is that what you're asking?
I'm asking you to pause.
Oh.
I'm
Are you?
dropping in right now. They don't know. This is the magic of post production.
Okay.
We're going to drop in these letters. Here's one of these stupid fucking letters from this guy, Anastasios Kamoutsas, who has to invoke God in his fucking letters to the parents. Such as right here. You have the right to expect instruction that encourages individual responsibility, effort, and merit, does not assign guilt or blame based on a student's background or the way God created them. Completely unnecessary. It's objective and factual. That's rich coming from the Ron DeFascist administration. Aligns with Florida state academic standards to protect students from being made to feel inferior or uncomfortable because of their race, sex, or religion. I think we've been kind of saying that, except they think that DEI makes people feel inferior or uncomfortable because of these things, because they might actually have to learn the truth about American history. And if you cannot raise your kids to understand the truth and how it does not reflect upon them when you're fucking 7 years old, then you're not doing a very good job as a parent. Okay, cool. I dropped them in, and you can see what this individual is suggesting that is important to the bedrock of an education in the public school system. It's wrong. I don't want to see it. Nobody wants to see it other than Christian nationalists.
It's fucking weird,
Nobody asked
Chris.
for it.
And
Nobody asked for it.
so I have.
It's another solution looking for a problem, a la Donald Trump.
So I have this admission, okay, that me and my wife love to watch American Idol. Okay. American Idol, we've always loved it. When it went away for a year, we were all pissed off. I don't care how many viewers it gets. I fucking love it. I love the setup. I love it all, right? This
He
year,
loves it, folks. It's okay.
American Idol, I
No
fucking
judgment.
love it. I love American Idol. Adam Lambert, he's one of my fucking favorites. Dude, that guy's fucking crazy. But
Great
anyway,
singer.
huh?
Great singer.
He is a great singer. But anyway, this year they tried to put in an episode where it was like all Christian music. And this is what I'm talking about, where MAGA and Christian nationalists are trying to put people in place to remove plurality. And, Carrie Underwood, she is MAGA. She sang I think she sang the national anthem or something at his inauguration. She's full blown MAGA, and they planted her there And I guarantee you that she told the producers that she wants to have one full Christian episode, and so I turned it off. I'm tired of this. It's fucking
Yeah,
weird, Chris. This
it is.
isn't
It is weird.
normal.
It is not what the majority of people are asking for. So what you have right now, and this is also by virtue of gerrymandering, you have, I've heard people use the expression, instead of voters picking their politicians or officials, the elected officials are picking their voters. Gerrymandering is ruled by the minority, and that's what it is. And it's not the majority of Americans that are saying, give me Christian nationalism on television or in my school system. It's simply not. But these are powerful people that know it could be used as a tool to control and divide. So they're going to do it. And that's what they're doing. And everything comes back to money at the end of the day, but this is a tool to control and divide.
And the problem is, when you talk about patterns and you talk about fascism, is that their policies aren't even popular. They have a bunch
Oh,
of
right,
rhetoric.
exactly.
They're a popular party. They're a loud party. They have a lot of rhetoric, but their policies aren't popular. Donald Trump's approval rating, I think the last one was 37%. So if their policies aren't popular, everybody knows it's bullshit. The right people, the sane people know that his immigration lies are bullshit. His rise in crimes is bullshit. Everybody knows that his policies are bad, but he's still forcing them down our fucking throat, Chris. And he's putting troops on the goddamn streets to do it. He's setting up, he put in California. He's putting them in Washington, D.C. He talked about putting them in Chicago. New Orleans, I think it was his next one he was
Yeah.
talking about.
And it was found to be unconstitutional, the use of the National Guard in Los Angeles. So, he's allowed to do things, and then, after the fact, you shouldn't have done that. It's unconstitutional.
But
He
but
doesn't give a fuck.
but it's going
He's
to be
going to do it.
appealed. It's going to be appealed, and I think the judge in that case put a stay on that order so they can continue to run operations. I'm pretty sure in
Well, and they're
California.
doing that quite frankly, frequently, as well as even when what they find is unconstitutional or there's an injunction, they'll stay it pending appeal and allow him to continue to do whatever crazy shit he's doing, um, while it works its way through the court systems. No one is stopping him, even though they know it's wrong, and these court findings essentially say so. They're just doing it anyway. They're
There's no there's
daring
why
us
wouldn't
to
you?
hold them accountable.
Why wouldn't you do it? If you were Donald Trump and you're this authoritarian leader, why wouldn't you do exactly what he's doing? Why wouldn't you bulldoze over the judges? Why wouldn't you bulldoze over Congress? Because he can. Because Congress and our judicial system, none of the branches expected for the people to elect somebody like Donald Trump. And we fucking did. We put him in office. And he's authoritarian as fuck. And he's bulldozing his unpopular policies by putting fucking troops on the streets. And now these people, they think that they're fucking safe because they have troops on the streets. I see it. They comment when I make comments about don't get comfortable with fucking troops on your streets because that's not fucking safety, right?
Yeah.
That's fucking control. And these
Yep.
people are commenting on my fucking posts that they're happy that the fucking troops are on their street.
That's crazy
It,
talk.
and so I tell them, I'm like, what do you mean you're fucking happy? You're happy that your president during a 20-year low in crime in Washington, D.C., decided to put troops on your fucking street? It doesn't make any sense. He just militarized our streets for no goddamn sense, Chris. And then you're telling me you're okay with it? You're okay with a slight drop in crime? And you're okay with going to the grocery store with fucking armed guards and fucking fatigues and National Guard uniforms? Are you in fucking sane? Go fucking live in North Korea if you want that fucking safety. If you want troops on your fucking street. Do you know what the crime, do you know what the murder rate per capita in fucking North Korea is, Chris? Guess.
Oh, I have no idea.
Just guess.
Per capita,
Murder rate.
0.1%.
Huh?
I don't know, what, 0.1%.
Zero.
Okay.
Zero. I don't know if it's true, but that's what they report, that they have
Oh, that's
zero.
that's the official statistic
That's the
from the
officials. They
government.
have zero fucking murders. Okay? So do you want to fucking live in North Korea, Chris? Because I just told you that?
No, 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 because it has zero. quote, zero murders. Yeah, that sounds very Trumpy, right? Like, by the way, we collected $15 trillion in tariff money is apparently what we've collected because the state says so. The Trump state says so.
Right.
I totally believe it. So, and when North Korea says no murders, I totally believe that.
Right.
You
That's
have
what
to
we're
be
setting
nutso to
up.
fucking believe any of this.
He's getting rid of the people that he's getting rid of the bean counter. He's getting rid of all the dorks that count that are the ones that tell us if we're doing good or not. He's getting rid of all
Yes.
the analysts. He's getting
Yep.
rid of the people that are poking holes in his fucking plan because it doesn't make any fucking sense other than
Yep.
trying to turn us into a fascist fucking state with him at the helm. So anyway,
That's it.
troops, we can't fucking have troops on our streets. We cannot have fucking troops on our streets.
This is not. We talked about it in the last episode. This is not democracy when you have masked agents snatching people off the street. This is not democracy when you have the military in the streets and on corners making sure you're safe, even though, let's just be honest, they haven't gone into one bad neighborhood. And all the footage is of these guys either standing around or picking up trash. And when you're paying the National Guard to pick up the trash, instead of the people who pick up the trash, the local sanitation department, you're paying a lot more. That's not efficient use. Somebody called Doge, somebody called Big Balls and fucking Elon and make sure that we're spending our money right.
Yeah.
Of course, all that is horseshit too. Putting that aside, this is what they're doing. This is what they have these military folks on the street doing. They're not in the tough parts of town where shit is really going down. And in Chicago, they have that. You know, there is a tough part of town.
You know what the thing that pisses me off
They're
the
not going to
most?
put them in there.
You know what the thing that pisses me off the most, Chris, is that you have this whole alpha mentality in the MAGA party. You have this alpha man, this person that's this badass, right? But they're not fucking doing shit right now. And they wave flags all over the place that say, don't tread on me. And the fucking military, the president of the United States is literally fucking treading on us in our cities right now. And they don't do fucking shit. I'm telling you, they're not fucking alphas. They're fucking bitches, man. And all these little fucking alpha, all that shit has been debunked because these guys don't give a fuck about anything except for Donald fucking Trump, and they love sitting under his wet fucking armpits. Fuck.
Yeah, and they're betas. They're not real alphas. They're punk asses. You have, when you have tyrannical, um, tyrant adjacent behavior out of your president and you keep shelling for it and he's putting armed guards in the streets and masked agents snatching people off the streets. I don't give a fuck if they're illegal aliens or not. Obama was able to deport millions of people that we didn't apparently want here without masked people snatching them off the streets. He didn't have to do it that way.
And
Okay?
without rubbing our country's name through the mud, without making it look like
yeah.
that we're this alienated country that we don't want anybody in. And I'm telling you guys, that's not the truth. We want immigrants. We need immigrants. The only thing
You need to have it. You need to have immigration.
Yeah.
By the way, and let's make no mistake about it. It's not just illegal immigration. Stephen Miller has said it. They've all said it. They don't want immigration. They do not want brown people
That's what it
here,
is.
period. That's all that it is. Don't be under any misapprehension what this is about. They don't give a fuck. Okay? They don't want them here.
And you know what?
And
A lot of these
look, we can and honestly, Mark, we could really go on a tangent about what the ramifications of that are. I'm just going to say the morality of snatching people off the streets is wrong. I'm going to say that putting our troops in the streets of our cities is wrong. That's not law enforcement. That's militarization. That's not law enforcement. If you want law enforcement, you hire more police officers, you train them better, you give them other resources, you do community relations, you put people in the communities that can improve the lives of the people in those communities. You invest in those communities, you give the people their opportunities to earn a living. You don't hollow out the city's manufacturing or corporate centers or whatever else. You don't pull out the means by which people make a living. You invest there. They don't want to do anything. Let's be honest. They do not want to do any of that. They want black people to be subservient and second-class citizens. They want immigrants to probably be below that or thrown the fuck out altogether. So that's what this is all about. Make no mistake.
Yep. All right. So,
I think we have two things we should get to
two more
before
things.
we wrap up the show, Mark.
Yeah. So this is a fucking hot one, right? And this is, I posted about this yesterday, and no, this morning I posted about it 1 hour ago, and it's got over 3.7 thousand likes, almost 60,000 views. But I said, what happens in Florida doesn't stay in Florida. It comes with you as measles, mumps, or polio. Thanks a lot, Ron. What the fuck are we doing, man? So go ahead, tell them.
Man, this has got me heated. This has got me heated, and there are people all over the state, all over the country, all over the fucking world, believe it. They're posting about it from Europe, from South America, that this is fucking insane. This is not freedom. So, the Surgeon General of Florida, Joseph Ladopi, goes ahead and makes this announcement that they're going to end
Hey,
all
can
vaccine
you
mandates.
drop his fucking picture up there too?
Yeah, I'll drop his dopey ass fucking picture up there. There's Ron the Fascist and Joseph Ladopi. Okay, these two schmucks. They're trying to kill people. Okay, don't be under any other illusions. People will die if this comes to pass. It's very simple. It's very fucking simple. I'm not a doctor. I don't even need to be a doctor. All right. Mark doesn't need to be a doctor, although I've heard he plays one.
Well, my
You don't
initials
need to do it.
my initials are MD. So
MD. Okay, take it for what it's worth. All joking aside, in the 30s and 40s, there's a vaccine for something called pertussis, whooping cough. Everybody knows about it. You've gotten the shot. If you had kids, you know you got your kids the shot. Okay. In the 30s and 40s, 4,000 people a year died from this. Okay? You heard that right. 4,000 people a year. 100,000 people could get afflicted with it.
Okay.
All right, that's just one stat, and that's pretty fucking minor. I mean, think about smallpox, polio, measles. There's a stat I saw today. The measles vaccine has saved 29 million lives since its introduction.
Yeah.
I might even have that wrong. It's a incredible number. The advent of the vaccine is really the greatest medical achievement mankind has ever known.
Yeah. I think it goes hand soap and then fucking vaccines. You know,
Hand soap, vaccines. Look, if you can have hand soap and vaccines, you're in good shape.
Yeah. You know, you used to be in America if you had hand soap and vaccines, but not anymore. So we could go on and on.
I want to, and by the way, I'm looking at the computer. I'm looking for some stats that I had. I want to make sure I have this right.
Okay.
I don't want to be MAGA and spread a bunch of fucking bullshit.
I hear you.
So here we go. This is in the United States. During 1934 to 1943, before the introduction of the childhood pertussis vaccination, the annual average number of cases, 200,000. 200,000 cases of this shit. Okay? 4,000 deaths. That's for a 10-year window. All right? That should blow your fucking mind.
Mm-hmm.
And now that wouldn't be under Ron the Fascist and Joseph Ladopi. You wouldn't be mandated to get that. Now, why is that important? Let's just use that one vaccine for instance. It is primarily transmitted among people, among children. They're going to be more likely to give it to one another. Where do kids get sick? School. Do you have a kid?
I do. I
Your
got
kid
two of
gets
them.
sick in fucking school, dude.
Yeah, I know.
Period. You know, I know.
You got kids in school, right?
In school because they got their boogers and they're getting it all over each other, and this is what happens. It's just.
Well, I got a sore throat, and it's no coincidence that it's because the kids just went back to school. You know, I mean,
There you go.
It is what it is.
All right, and my point being, They're going to give each other illnesses. It's part of life. We understand that. MAGA wanted the herd immunity and all that shit. Fantastic. But you can solve that issue of having people give each other every known communicable disease with vaccines that are safe and effective and proven. And the pertussis, if this were to sort of recreate itself into modern times and 4,000 kids a year were going to fucking die because of this,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and their kids are spreading this shit amongst each other in school, and somebody's going to get sick, and there's some percentage that's going to die, some percentage. Okay, it's like 2%. So 2%. Okay, so 2 out of every 100 kids that gets this fucking thing is going to die. Completely unnecessarily.
Yep.
All right, using these statistics from less than 100 years ago, prior to the vaccine being available. Again, I haven't gotten into measles, polio, smallpox, all this shit that's even worse.
Yep.
Okay, all this other shit that is known to be smallpox and polio. I mean, if it's not a death sentence, it's going to ruin your life.
So here's my take on the whole thing. Okay, and I tend to look at something and then I tend to, try to go one step below the surface, like what's really going on here, right?
Go
And
ahead.
so we're the first state, just to make it clear, we're the first state in the country that is entertaining the idea of removing
Number one
the number one.
and only one.
Yeah, and
But we won't be the last, if that's your point.
I do a weekly fascist award for the most
Go ahead.
fascist state every week, and Florida might get the number one this week, but to be continued. But anyway, we're the first state to remove vaccine mandates or entertain it. It's going to be challenged in court. Hopefully, he loses. He's a fucking idiot. But anyway, so what are they really doing here? Okay, so if you, Chris, decided that you didn't want your child to get vaccinated, and you had a doctor's note that said, for whatever reason, they can't get vaccines because of medical issues, or you have a religious exemption, okay? Your child can go to school without vaccines, okay? You can get exemptions. And these exemptions are all over the country.
Yep.
Some people know about them, some people don't know about them, okay? So already there was an out for this small select group of people that don't want vaccines because they don't believe in them or whatever the case is. Those people could find resources to find an out so that their children didn't get vaccinated, and then they send them to school and everything's fine. Now, what DeSantis decided to do was rip out the carpet and put it out into the middle of Times Square and say Florida no longer believes that vaccines are important, right? That's what they said. They said
That's it.
that the MAHA, make America healthy again, whatever the
Maha.
fucking fascist bullshit that they're pulling in Washington, D.C., the MAHA, they're saying that we agree with this fucking RFK guy that has fucking heroin needles sticking out of his fucking veins for 14 years.
Listen, he got
We
a
agree
brain
with
worm.
that guy
He's the brain
that,
worm who's a
yeah,
heroin addict. He's not a medical doctor. He's not any kind of doctor. He's not even a fake doctor. Yet he is in charge of healthcare in America right now. And yes, so he's leading the cause against vaccines. He's
yeah.
dismantled everything at
So
the
he
federal
put,
level to support vaccination programs. Continue.
well, he's the one that had all these YouTube videos out about vaccines and being anti-vax and anti-this. Like this is happening. This is no longer a joke. This is no
It's no
longer
joke.
YouTube, fucking Twitter, Reddit shit. This is Oval Office policy shit. This is fucking crazy. Anyway, vaccines. We could probably have an entire another episode. I would even suggest maybe we jump on, for just 10 minutes at some point and just talk about fucking vaccines and how fucked up that
Yeah,
is.
I think I would love, Mark, if somebody out there who is a doctor
Mm-hmm.
would like to join us and talk about this in all sincerity about the pros and cons. I'm going to say this: this COVID thing really threw gasoline on the fire of this extremely vanishingly small percentage of the population that thought that vaccines were something to be concerned about.
Hmm.
And Trump does warp speed. uh, the companies were already developing mRNA type vaccine technology. They got the green light to proceed with the COVID vaccine during COVID. It was a rousing success, incredible success. There's no disputing it. It's scientifically proven, and you know I presume there were a few people that had a negative reaction, um, and there were some concerns, particularly about athletes and potentially getting myocarditis.
Mm.
The odds of that were extremely small. And by the way, if you get COVID, you have a very good chance of getting myocarditis or some other kinds of major effects, in the, pulmonary or otherwise, that would negatively affect you in the same way or worse. So the reality is, though they seized on one tiny sliver of somebody who might have a negative reaction or outcome from the
Right.
vaccine, and you're talking about less than a fraction of a percent of all recipients, and they blew this up into something that could be used, like fucking Trump is walking away from it. Everybody's forgotten. Nobody in the press brings it up because they're fucking shills. They're fucking cucks. Trump got COVID. Remember that. Trump got
Hmm.
COVID. He was in terrible shape. He had the finest medical care available to him. That's what kept him alive. The fact that there were the resources available at the time. We didn't say
Right.
no to those resources. We said yes to those resources and to those technologies. He was vaccinated. Ron the fascist has been vaccinated. Make no mistake about
Yeah.
it. Anybody in any position of authority is vaccinated because they're exposed to a lot of different people. You never know when you might get exposed to somebody with some kind of disease. You're
Yeah.
shaking hands all the time. You're going to these fucking fundraisers while your billionaire scumbag friends trying to raise money and kiss ass. So you're
It
exposed to a
doesn't
lot of
make any
people. They all
sense.
get all the vaccines. Make no mistake.
Yeah. I mean, it's just about spreading their hate, and
It's all it is.
it's
It's
about
more fear, hate,
control
and
and
control.
division, and it's fascist. They're fascists, man. They're doing the fucking playbook. All right. So,
Let's go to
all right. So
Epstein.
last week,
Let's go to Epstein, Mark, because we have a limited amount of time. It's got to be said. We cannot go and wrap up the show without talking about what happened yesterday.
yeah. All right. Set it up.
So we know that we know what's going on. Okay, it's a massive cover up. Um, Mark was on. Mark confronted Ron the fascist in one of his conferences where he was blabbering on about Hulk Hogan, and Mark said, "You're covering for pedophiles like Trump and the GOP guardians of pedophiles." Um, the MAGA movement expected that Trump was going to be transparent. I don't know why they expected this, but they're in a cult. They expected Trump to be transparent about what transpired in those Epstein files. Okay,
Yeah.
97% of it has already been publicly available. We know his name is in flight manifests. We have millions of pictures of him and Epstein. We know they had a falling out. Um, Epstein's brother has said
All
that
right.
he
So
thinks
so let me
that.
let me let me ask you a
Yeah,
question.
go ahead.
So, because I'm a little confused about this, and I think we're kind of getting back into Epstein because Congress has been out of, now
Yeah,
they're getting back
I
in.
wanted to just get the backstory, and then I want to bring to yesterday with the hearing
Yeah.
and the Epstein victims.
So Congress told the DOJ a while back, like a month ago, to release all the Epstein files, and they wanted them 100% unredacted, right?
Yep.
And what Congress provided them, what the DOJ, what Pam Bondi provided Congress, were heavily redacted files. And most of those files were recycled. They weren't new.
Yep.
And so Congress told, and that would be similar to the president telling Pam Bondi to do something. They're equal branches of government. So Congress told Pam Bondi. So my understanding is that wasn't a legal request. right? That wasn't a bill necessarily.
Right.
That wasn't a
Mm-hmm.
law or whatever. I don't know. So that wasn't a legal request. So now, Pam Bondi obviously didn't play ball with that. So now Congress is trying to pass another bill that is being head off by a Democrat and a Republican
Mm-hmm.
from Kentucky. I think the Republican isn't
Yeah,
going to
Massey
run again. Yeah,
and
yeah.
Rokana.
Um, so they're both heading the bill, and they're trying to say pass this bill, and now legally the DOJ will be required to hand over the documents unredacted. So
That's
they've
correct.
already asked once, they didn't get what they wanted. Now they're trying to pass a bill to get exactly what they want. It's all freaking chaos, dude. And now you got people looking at this, like MAGA's looking at this, and they're cross-eyed. And I guarantee you, they just can't follow it, and they don't want to follow it, so they just say Trump said he didn't do
They,
it,
they,
so I believe
they're
him.
going to throw up their hands because, they can't, other than Hunter's laptop and Hunter's taint that was dangling around in the fucking camera, they can't sink their teeth into anything long enough to get the truth. Because
Hell
Trump is
no.
going to say that, he said it yesterday. Let's just say not what he's going to say, what he has said. It's a Democrat hoax. He said it yesterday. Okay, it's a Democrat. Somehow Epstein is a Democrat hoax. All right, then this is his go-to, guys. And MAGA,
This
if
is
you're
his
listening to me, if you're
hoax.
within earshot, MAGA, he is insulting your intelligence every fucking waking minute of your life. Because remember, I love the poorly educated. And he thinks you're not going to pay attention or hold him accountable because I could shoot someone in the middle of Fifth Avenue and not lose any voters, as he said.
Right.
And he thinks that you're just going to forget about it. Now, there is a contingent of people within the MAGA base that has not forgotten or lost sight of it. And there are a couple of these lunatic reps like Bober and Green that are signed on to this thing to release the files. Okay, there is some support there. They need 2 more people on this petition to bring it to a vote, and then it's going to say we're doing this thing for real. Um, I think
So I
that
want to I want to interrupt. I want to interrupt you
yeah,
real
go ahead.
quick. The person. So they need two more people, right,
Mm-hmm.
in Congress.
Yep.
Florida District 6 is the district that I'm running for Congress in,
Yep. Go ahead.
and I've gotten a lot of support so far. They have Randy Fine there, and if you don't know who Randy Fine, maybe we can pop up a picture of
Do
him
I
too.
have to? Oh
Um,
fuck no, he's disgusting.
I know. Maybe we can just blur out his face.
Yeah.
But anyway, he's this huge dude, and he's just a slop, right? And I've never seen somebody be so racist as Randy Fine, and he's Jewish. He has he wears he's Jewish,
Sure. It's like
and
Carolyn Levitt
but
wearing the cross. It's
yeah, right, exactly.
she's so
Um,
Christ-like in her behavior.
Right. But don't let this fool you. This guy is a fucking Nazi, I'm telling you.
Yeah, no
But
doubt.
anyway, Randy fucking Fine is not going to vote for that. And
No.
he does not give a shit about fucking kids. And I'm telling you this right now, Chris. You cannot trust MAGA, who is fucking bowing down to fucking pedophiles to run and fucking help our kids. It's
Absolutely
not
not.
going to fucking happen. So I want to just pause right here and say this is a little plug here that please vote for me in Florida District 6. Randy fucking Fine has got to go. That guy is a mess. He's not even liked very much in MAGA circles
No.
because he's so fucking racist. But he's got to go. So please vote for me. I am a mad dog. I am fucking brutal. I'm going to get that shit fucking organized, and I'm going to bite onto something, and I'm not going to let go until I get the fucking truth out of it. So please vote for
Yeah,
me.
I love it.
Um,
I want to go back to that in a second. I just want to
okay.
wrap up the latest Epstein news because if we're too pissed off to keep a coherent thought for more than 60 seconds, I hope that's understandable to the viewers at home because it's infuriating to watch what's going on. They're trying to bury this
hmm
thing. They're having some success. Now he's trying to pivot to Democrat hoax. The victims. These women were children. Let's make no mistake about what happened and when it happened. This is going back. I could be wrong, but it's a minimum 20 years, closer to between 20 and 35 years ago. And the women that were victimized were all within that window of time, as far as I can recall. And now all
Yeah.
these women are grown up. They have to live their lives. They've not been believed about this shit before. We don't know all the people that were involved. There is some intimations as to who was there. We know Trump is in the flight manifest, so we know he's been to the island. Who else is in those documents that were involved in this thing? Representative from Miami, Luna, came out the other day, and it's the second time I've heard this, essentially said there's reason to believe that Epstein was an intelligence asset working for a foreign government. Okay, he may have been an intelligence asset working for our government, and which is why he's done little to no, he did little to no jail time before off with his head, whatever the fuck happened in that prison. So this, yeah, there's a massive cover up. We know that they can't keep their story straight. None of them, Bondi, Patel, Bongino, Trump, anybody who has seen anything, they cannot keep their story straight. Uh, the victims, in their own way, know what happened and have shared it with one another, is my interpretation of what they're talking about. And they're prepared to go public with this stuff. They've been advised, from what I understand, that they might get sued if one of them were to simply just
Yep.
start dropping names. So they're trying to get it to the people in Congress, because then it's going to be read into the public record through official channels, and there's no one that can be sued at that point, because it'll be Congress reading off the names that are identified in this
Yep.
supposed list. Let's
Yeah.
hope that happens, because we need accountability and need to know ultimately who was in Epstein's orbit that was related to anybody in a position of power today. Could be Trump, could not be, could be other people. We've heard names. I don't need to get into all of them. We need to know what's true and what's not true. And to call it a Democrat
100%.
hoax is only to say, I'm fucking guilty.
Yeah, it's all. I'm glad to see that the Democrats in Congress have really sunken their teeth into this,
Yeah.
and that they're not letting it go. Epstein's not going anywhere. Everybody knows that this is Trump's problem. This is Trump's hoax or whatever it is. This is Trump. This is all Trump's list. It's all Trump. So he's going to have to sit in it, and he's going to have fun in it. So, and I'm just going to laugh the whole fucking time that he drowns in it. So, but I want to shift gears a little bit. We do need to wrap this up.
Yep.
Um, I
Let's
want
wrap it up.
to
Let me
bring.
say something for you before you wrap.
Go ahead. Go
Before
ahead.
you pre-wrap me doing the wrap. Let me wrap on
Yeah.
this. Mark brought it up. Running in Florida District 6, Mad Dog
Hmm.
Dems is his guerrilla army, and he's running because District 6 needs a dog in the fight. They don't need some kind of Nazi slob representing them, because I doubt that the entirety of District 6 in Florida thinks that the way this guy speaks represents them, and what he's talking about, what he's saying about nuking the people in Gaza and all that really represents all the people in District 6. Mark is a dog in this fight, and he's going to challenge this guy. He needs your help. He's set up fundraising. So, Mark, why don't you talk about that?
Yeah. So I set up my ActBlue account. Maybe we can put the web address up
I can
here
figure
once
it out. We
we
will.
get this going. But anyway, you can get on there and donate. We're going hard after Randy Fine, and this guy is a mess, and we're taking him down big time. But I wanted to talk about who I am, okay? Because last episode, Chris asked me a very good question about who are you, Mark? And I completely went a different direction, and I never answered his question. So I'm going to answer his question really quickly, and then maybe next episode we'll get into a little bit more about my past, just so you guys can get to know me. But anyway, I was born and raised in Kokomo, Indiana, is where I'm originally from. I lived there until I was 26 years old. I met my wife there, high school sweethearts in Indiana. We have been married now almost 20 years. I think it's like 18 years. Um, So anyway, we've been together for a long time. But in the middle of that, all that, I did go to school at Purdue. I did was in the reserves for the Air Force. So I was in the military for 8 years. And then I worked in retail in Wisconsin for 10 years. There I was a high-level corporate manager. I was a buyer for products. I saw products all the way from the vendor meetings all the way to the shelf and making sure that the advertising message and everything like that worked. And then I worked my way up and had about 20 buyers underneath me by the time that I left that place. It was a home improvement, third largest home improvement center in the country. And then I moved to Florida, and I was a vice president of a small pet company that ended up going out of business. And now I sell health insurance here in Florida. And anyway, my entire family is with me here. My wife, my 2 children. We love it here. And that was just a quick version. But anyway, next time we'll get into a little bit deeper about why I'm so passionate about politics right now, what got me so involved, and a little bit more about, just kind of maybe the psychology about the MAGA movement and why I think I'm the right person to bring this sickness down. So anyway, that was the Cliff Note version. But on your wrap up, Chris, last time we had some technical difficulties,
We did.
and you gave me this huge discourse about your favorite band, and I asked you what is your favorite band, and you gave me like 30 freaking bands, man.
That's right. I did.
And I think we have the technology down this time.
We do.
We don't. I think we're not gonna have any issues. So, but I want this to be simple question, Chris. What if you had to name it your number one? And I don't want to hear about every genre and what is your overall number one favorite band of all time?
I don't know. You're very discriminatory. I think you might be bandist. You might be
Oh my
bandist.
God, just pick a band.
No, we
Dude.
can't do that. You don't understand.
Do it. One band.
You don't understand. I'm wearing a
You can't do
Soundgarden
it,
shirt
can you?
today, so we'll go with Soundgarden. How about that?
Soundgarden.
Does
Wow.
that suit you? Does that satisfy you, you son of a bitch?
That actually almost brings a tear to my eye because I fucking love Soundgarden, and
Phenomenal.
I can't think of his what's his fucking name? What's his lead singer's
Oh my
name?
God, dude! You just
I
committed
know.
blasphemy. That might be the most
Just-
outrageous thing that's been said on this
Tell me
show.
what his fucking name is.
Chris
Tell me what his fucking
Cornell,
name
sir.
is.
How dare you?
Chris Cornell. Sorry. He died, obviously, way too soon. He was on Howard Stern a couple times.
Yeah.
His live performance on there, just fucking amazing. He's probably one of the greatest all-time singers.
Yes.
For grunge, for sure. Okay, I'll take it. Soundgarden is fucking awesome.
And I'm going to take that opportunity to say this. We'll rather than give you the whole rundown. I mean, last week he asked me, and I can't pick one band, so I went decade by decade, and I gave him a couple top bands from every decade. Rather than do that, for the benefit of those at home, if you have not taken the time to get acquainted with Soundgarden, you need to do so. Go do your homework. Go listen to Soundgarden. You can listen to. This is the shirt from Screaming Life, a record in the late 80s. You can go listen to Ultra Mega OK. You can listen to Bad Motorfinger, Super Unknown, Down on the Upside, and then they had their comeback. They broke up in 97, I think. Yes, in 97. And then they came back in 2010. They put out a record a couple of years later called King Animal. All great records, there are different qualities to each of them. If you want the traditional grungy sound, if you want to indulge in pure gutter sludge, go to Bad Motorfinger and listen to Outshined, one of their most well-known songs with a great music video, Rusty Cage, Jesus Christ Pose, Slaves and Bulldozers, Room 1,000 Years Wide. All these have monster riffs, okay? Monster, sludgy, gross ass riffs, okay? They're
fucking love it.
They're a phenomenal band. Go listen to anything Soundgarden.
They are amazing. That dude.
Chris Cornell
man,
honestly, he is the greatest. He's the greatest singer as far as I'm concerned. There really is nobody else that can replicate what he was able to do.
So you want to know who my favorite all-time singer is?
Go ahead with a singer.
Just singer. Huh?
Go ahead with a singer.
Oh yeah, Elliott Smith. I bet you don't know who he is.
No.
Elliott Smith. Look him up. But my favorite band, thank you for asking, is the Beatles. And I'm not going to go on and on about the Beatles. Everybody knows about the Beatles, but they just introduced me to so much music, Radiohead, things like that.
Can
But
never go wrong with the
Elliott
Beatles.
Smith, the Beatles, Elliott Smith, he took a lot from the Beatles, and he's just masterful. But he died from suicide, I think, when he was 40 or something
Jesus
like that. But
Christ, dude.
yeah, yeah.
Well,
But anyway,
that's a whole other topic of discussion, people offing
yeah.
themselves. But, the great thing about music, I've been fortunate enough to make some music over the years. It is your legacy. It memorializes you. It immortalizes you as it would with somebody of the stature of Chris Cornell. All the guys in the band, they have one of the greatest drummers, Matt Cameron, and then Ben Shepherd's a
Hmm.
bass player, Kim Thayil's a guitar player. I mean, if we're just talking about this one band because I'm wearing the shirt, their discography is phenomenal. They're immortalized in all that music as every musician is that's ever made anything. And they live on no matter what happens to the rest of the world. As long as there's someone to play their music, they live on forever. And Chris is really one of my ultimate heroes. And frankly, honestly, I've never had someone that wasn't a close friend or family member that passed away that tore me up. And Chris Cornell's the only person I ever met that when they passed away and I learned of it, that I honestly cried and was incredibly upset. And to this day,
Mm,
it upsets me. So I always
yeah.
remember and honor Chris's work in Soundgarden and his other projects. But go listen to some Soundgarden because I said so.
Yeah, dude, that's amazing, man. Because I fucking love. I know I butchered his name, but I fucking love Chris Cornell, man. And that's probably, if it's not the Beatles, it's one of Beatles, Radiohead, Chris Cornell. I mean, that's
Hey
what's
man,
playing in my
it's a
fucking
it's a
car.
it's a pretty good top three if you're gonna have a top
Yeah,
three of musical
yeah,
artists. So let's go
yeah.
ahead and
Cool.
Mark will wrap up the show. Everybody, we appreciate
Yeah.
you watching Dad Bods and Bad Attitudes. And we will be back next week with some more news. Hopefully, it's good news. Maybe it's bad news. Whatever it is, you're going to get the straight fire
Let's
from
fucking
Mark
go.
Davis, Chris Samela, Dad Bods, and Bad Attitudes. See ya.